All right, let's jump right into this. We are looking at a software supply chain campaign dubbed Mini Shai-Hulud. Now, right off the bat, I need you to completely rethink what this actually is. This isn't just another routine open-source malware alert where somebody forgot to install a patch. No way! As the data makes abundantly clear, this is a massive, system-wide governance warning. Mini Shai-Hulud represents, frankly, a fundamental collapse of developer trust. So in this explainer, we're going to unpack exactly how this happened, why our traditional security frameworks completely missed the boat, and what organizations absolutely must do right now to survive. Because in this era, attackers aren't just going after the software anymore, they are actively going after the actual machinery that builds it.
So what happens when malware carries a VIP pass? I mean, really think about that for a second. What happens when the threat doesn't even look like a threat? Mini Shai-Hulud operated essentially like a modern-day Trojan horse. It completely bypassed our standard robust enterprise defenses, and why? Because it didn't bother kicking down the front door. Instead, it just casually strolled in carrying a VIP pass. The malicious code was perfectly embedded into packages that developers and their automated build systems treat as completely legitimate. It moved right through trusted development workflows. It even carried valid-looking provenance signatures. Basically, it looked exactly like an expected routine software update, just walking right past the security guards.
Okay, Section 1, Weaponizing Developer Trust. Let's look at how this campaign literally turned our own developer ecosystems into a weapon against us.
Hundreds. That is the staggering scale of this incident. We're talking about hundreds of open-source packages being compromised across major developer ecosystems. These are widely used tools connected to massive, well-known organizations like Tanstack, UiPath, and Mistral AI. And get this, some of these impacted tools, they were being downloaded millions of times per week, literally millions. And because developers trusted them, the credential-stealing code hidden inside was pulled directly into the central nervous system of countless organizations. To put it in perspective, pulling one of these packages is basically like inviting a complete stranger into your house just because they happen to be wearing a delivery uniform. You just don't do it.
This really brilliantly illustrates the massive paradigm shift we're facing right now. For years, the outdated view of supply chain risk was simply that it was a vendor problem, right? A supplier ships a vulnerability or a vendor forgets to patch something and you just deal with it. But the new reality? Attackers are actively targeting the ecosystem itself. They're going after the repositories, the code editors, the AI assistants, the automation paths. They are absolutely not waiting around for a vulnerability in a finished product anymore. They are flat out hijacking the pipeline used to create that product.
Now here is where it gets really fascinating. Let's talk about the specific hidden attack surface this malware actually went after. It didn't just target your standard everyday applications. Nope, it specifically targeted developer environments and went directly after CI/CD secrets and cloud credentials. And even more surprisingly, it actively embedded itself into configuration paths connected to tools developers use every single day, like Visual Studio Code and Anthropic's Claude Code. And why? Well, because developer machines literally hold the keys to the kingdom. If an attacker compromises those environments, they aren't just infecting one single app. They are taking over the entire factory.
Which brings us to Section 2, the illusion of safety. It's time to talk about our blind spots and why our standard, hope-based trust completely fell apart here.
Look at this quote. This is everything. No software artifact should be trusted solely because it is signed. Let me just repeat that. A signature is not enough. One of the absolute most alarming details about the Mini Shai-Hulud campaign is that these malicious packages actually carried valid provenance signatures. And a valid signature gives us this cozy, warm illusion of safety. It confirms that a piece of software went through a specific pipeline. And this is a massive flashing red light, but it does not prove that the pipeline itself was uncompromised, nor does it prove the actual code inside was safe. So treating a digital signature as the ultimate finish line of security, that is a fatal governance flaw.
And the crucial point is highlighted right here by a researcher at SNCC. They pointed out that directories like .claude and .vs Code are often entirely excluded from version control. I mean, they are almost rarely scrutinized as attack surfaces. Yet they provide this perfect silent execution environment for malicious code to just run in the background the exact moment a developer opens a project or fires up an AI coding session. We kind of have a habit of treating our local developer environments like a messy teenager's bedroom with stuff thrown everywhere, right? While we desperately try to keep our production environments looking like a pristine, high-security vault. Well, guess what? Attackers know exactly which door is unlocked, and they try the messy bedroom first.
All right, Section 3, Tools for Deep Visibility.
Let's pivot from the terrifying problem to the actual resolution. The core tools you absolutely need to map out your exposure and get control back. The first critical pillar of getting that visibility is the SBMOM, or Software Bill of Materials. An SBOM basically gives you structured visibility into exactly what software components, dependencies, and versions make up your environment. Think of it like a giant ingredients list. When hundreds of packages are compromised in a massive attack like mini Shai-Hulud, your first reaction really shouldn't spark a panicked, chaotic emergency Slack thread. You need immediate, structured blast radius analysis. An operational SBOM tells you instantly, okay, did we use this compromised package? Yes or no? Which exact version? Was it pushed to production, or is it just sitting in a local dev environment? Boom, you have your answers.
But here's the catch. An SBOM is actually no longer enough on its own. We immediately need the equal second pillar, the AI bill of materials. Because this malware specifically targeted Claude Code configurations, it proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that AI-assisted development is now a highly targeted part of the software supply chain. AI coding assistants, developer agents, plugins, these are trusted execution pads inside your enterprise right now. That means they have the green light to run code, access sensitive data, touch cloud environments, read local files, the whole shebang. They absolutely must be governed with the exact same rigorous standards as any traditional software component.
And this brilliantly illustrates what an AI bomb actually gives you. It answers the hard, necessary questions. Which AI tools are we actually using? What specific permissions do they hold? Where do their configuration files even live? And most importantly, what happens if they are compromised? AI governance can't just be a checklist about whether your customer-facing chatbot accidentally says something inappropriate. No, it has to include the developer AI tools that are acting as privileged, VIP gateways right into the core of your business.
Section 4. The new governance standard. Let's shift our focus from just putting out fires and reacting to incidents to building truly resilient operations.
To build a truly practical defense, we have to map the specific threats of a campaign, like mini Shai-Hulud, directly to our governance responses. So when hundreds of packages are suddenly compromised, your immediate response is an SBOM blast radius analysis. When attackers are abusing valid signatures, your response must be aggressively ensuring CI/CD process integrity, not just blindly trusting the signature alone. And when AI configurations are actively being targeted, your defense is an AI BOM tool inventory. This is exactly how you take the often abstract, dry concept of GRC and make it highly practical and, quite frankly, highly effective.
So how do we actually operationalize this? Well, here are the 4 key steps. First up, you need a relentless, comprehensive software and AI inventory. Second, risk-based approval, meaning a package that touches your critical payment system gets scrutinized vastly more than some random library used for a quick demo. Third, continuous monitoring, because let's face it, point-in-time approvals are effectively dead the exact second a new update ships. And fourth, and this is absolutely critical, revocation workflows. It is simply not enough to just approve tools. You must have the immediate ability to rapidly revoke a compromised token, a bad package, or a rogue AI tool.
A mature response to mini Shai-Hulud is not panic. It is disciplined governance. The organizations that are going to mature the fastest out of this whole incident, they will be the ones that finally replace that hope-based trust with defensible, disciplined governance. It means making sure that any exceptions to the rules are strictly owned by someone, and that leadership has actual board-ready reporting that focuses on true business exposure, not just endless technical noise.
I want to leave you with one final, incredibly powerful question today. What are you currently trusting, and exactly how fast can you revoke it? Seriously, take a hard look at your own open source and AI consumption. If an AI coding assistant in your environment gets compromised tomorrow morning, do you actually have the capacity to identify it and yank its access before the real damage is done? That right there is the real test of modern software supply chain governance. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Now go take a really hard look at your trust models.